everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sideline Banter, brought to you by Women of Fantasy Football. I am Sam Holt, joined, of course, by my co-host, Derek Tate. Tate, how the hell are you? We are officially in August. Training camp is well underway. We already have players injured. It's a good time.
It feels like I've been on paid leave, except I haven't received any money. So this has been a long time coming. We are in August. We are approaching the countdown. Eking closer to the start of the 2026 NFL season, but it's also the final 23 days of my 30s. So we got a lot of things going on in the month of August. So
we've got a lot of stuff to lock in on, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. I got to figure out what I'm going to be doing for my 40th birthday. 4-0.
4-0. Tell me what it's like.
My girls both went, "Wow, Daddy, that's a really big number," and I'm like. Oh, you just wait, girls. You just wait.
Goodness. Well, guys, if you're tuning in live, please throw any questions you have in the chat. Tate and I are going to be talking quarterback, wide receiver, or other offensive position stacks today in redraft formats, super flex, and single quarterbacks, because there's plenty of players to talk about. If you have any questions, again, throw them in the chat. We will get to them as soon as we can. We got to talk about training camp news, because that's what everyone's talking about. So we'll kind of pick through it a little bit here. But I think one of the things that we're just hearing a ton of, and I just saw they just made a Twitter account for them, is the electrical power plant that's outside of the Niners training camp. Did you see that? They now have their own electrical substation Twitter.
Yeah.
I'll pull up the profile on X, because these tweets just had me dying.
It feels appropriate based off of how many injuries San Francisco has sustained before we've even gotten through the first week of August. It's insane.
It is a wild number of injuries, and we just got a new one yesterday too. Hopefully this one's not nearly as bad as it sounds, because it just sounds like a slight tweak for one of your favorites, Mike Evans, dealing with a slight quad strain. But
yeah, Ricky Pearsall's out for the year. So they've already brought back Deebo Samuel. They're already dipping into the free agent wide receiver market. And we're not even, again, we're August 4th right now.
Yes. I'm going to go ahead and hit follow. It's at SC Substation on X, Electrical Substation. And their pinned tweet, which is just perfection, is, "I'm just here doing my job and everyone is mad at me."
Damn, that's pretty good.
It's so good. It's so good. Some other tweets that are also amazing. "How I'm feeling knowing practice resumes tomorrow." And it's that meme of just like rubbing your hands together. So good.
Yeah. Gonna have another impact on tomorrow's practice. Can't wait.
What
are you gonna throw at us tomorrow?
Tomorrow's a new day. The other thing that's really funny, I was listening to Fantasy Life's podcast with, of course, my good friend Kendall Valenzuela, and she had such a good point. It would do them a service to have positioned the media in a different section of the training camp, because every picture has the substation. Literally, you've got columns of these electrical wires right behind the players. And then you watch one go down, and it's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm 100% with you there. Like, it just highlights every time there's an injury or update from camp from San Francisco. It feels like it's becoming a thing, which is not a good thing for San Francisco fans. Oh gosh.
It's
just keep your hands off of Christian McCaffrey. That's all I ask.
100%. And you know what? Let's let the Niners be our first team that we talk about when it comes to quarterback stacking, when it comes to redraft. Obviously, a lot of people love targeting Brock Bowers and Christian McCaffrey, because that is a lovely 1-2 punch with the amount of targets that CMC gets. But again, you have so many other players there that have mouths to feed. And they also just went ahead and re-signed Deebo Samuel, so he is back with the team as well, which they need because of the injury bug. How would you feel if you were trying to, or are you not even bothering, trying to make a stack out of these players, just because there are so many injuries already, but knowing that this team tends to take quite a lot of hits in season?
Look at some of the prices that you can get when we're focusing on just the pass catchers there in San Francisco. I feel like they're fairly priced though, Sam. Like, yeah, Mike Evans right now is going middle rounds. George Kittle coming off of the Achilles tear, but reports have been pretty positive about his progress. Right now, he's sleeper. He's like ADP is like 92. Like that, you're not investing heavy early draft capital in the pass catchers there in San Francisco. So I'm okay. And right now, what Brock Purdy is all the way at QB 14
Yeah.
sleeper. So I'm fine with that. I mean, anytime you're getting Kittle and Brock Purdy, around the eighth, ninth round, and you're not having to invest high capital, but both of those guys have top 5 upside at their position. Yeah, I'm still fine with investing in the San Francisco offense from the pass catching side of things.
I think that's fair. And here's the thing, even when they have a multitude of injuries, they're going to continue to air out the ball. The plan doesn't change. The people do. So if you're trying to make a stack here, I think it could be interesting depending on how you want to spread these things out. I think that George Kittle, because he's obviously coming off of an injury, has a very fair market value. He's going quite a bit later just because he of that injury than typical tight ends normally do. So he's an interesting stack to me when it comes to a Brock Purdy combo. And to your point, Brock Purdy's currently sitting on average outside of the top 10 respectfully or right there at that mark in terms of quarterbacks off the board. So if you're looking to wait at the position, stacking Purdy with someone like Kittle again at a good value, or if you go ahead and grab someone like CMC right at the top round and then you wait on Purdy later, I'm not mad at that value.
Yeah, no, and we've seen how productive this San Francisco offense can be pretty much during Brock Purdy's entire tenure as the starting quarterback. So even with Mac Jones last year, they were still a productive offense. So yeah, I'm getting an offense that has a proven track record of being a top 10 scoring unit at those prices. I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, 100%. We have a couple of people in the chat. Thanks, guys, so much for tuning in. I'll just pull up this question here from Purple and Gold. Thoughts on who to take at 6 in a 10-man full PPR with 2 flex?
I mean, you're probably right there in that Jackson Smith and Jigba, Puka Nakua range, right? Or Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm probably going receiver because every draft I've been a part of so far, Sam, Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs, they rotate at going 1 or 2 overall. So you're probably having to pick amongst those receivers, and I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. That's the target that I would aim for at 6 overall.
I think that's fair. And yeah, looking at Fantasy Life rankings, sitting around 6, you've got, who we were just talking about, CMC, JSN, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Justin Jefferson, who I do think has a step back this year. I think you can't go wrong with any of that group there. But again, if this is a full PPR with 2 flex, I could see wide receivers maybe going a little bit higher. So maybe you get lucky and someone else kind of falls to you there a little bit at 6. But that's a good spot. I haven't done a mock draft at 6 yet. I've done a lot of mock drafts at 2, 3, 4 because those tend to be my favorite spots. But I need to be more open, and I gotta move my spot. I have to be prepared for all scenarios, don't I?
I have not even sniffed the top 5 of any draft I've been in thus far. I get stuck perpetually at 9 or 10. So I just got to do more drafts, I guess, right?
Yeah, 100%. You just say yes to more leagues. Problem solved. Another team that I think has been, questionable with the injury bug would be the New York Giants. And we've had some good news and some good tape of Malik Neighbors coming out of training camp.
We have.
How do we feel about that combo stack now, knowing that we've had some positive news? Because we've only had negative news about Neighbors this offseason. It was a follow-up surgery. It was the timeline's not looking good. And now we've got him running around on the field, getting a few reps in, and he looks far better than what, the smoke seems like there's fire over there warnings we were getting this offseason.
Yeah, so I see the comments also kind of jumping in on the Giants with Michael Russell as well, mentioning a second-year quarterback. And I thought we saw some great things from Jackson Dart last year, Sam. I mean, him and Malik Neighbors never finished a game together. No. And I still thought that he showed a lot of encouraging signs. Obviously, he's a great athlete. Like, some of his dual threat ability is real. And I thought he made it work with what he had in most circumstances. His running back went down. His number 1 wide receiver went down, and he was doing the best he could and putting up pretty damn good fantasy numbers with Wan'Dale Robinson as his really only reliable option in the passing game. So the more encouraging signs we get from Malik Neighbors, I'm far more optimistic about Jackson Dart's price right now as QB8 on Sleeper, right around that like 80 range overall. And Malik Neighbors now kind of in the 4th round, but I think that discount's going to start, it's going to evaporate if we keep getting good clicks from him at floor, right, Sam? Like you can maybe even make a case for someone like Terry McLaurin or maybe DK Metcalf. Like those type of players are like the veterans where you know what their role is going to look like.
Yeah.
I think that those are the type of guys that I would want to pair with Neighbors. I will say this. Investing in that stack has a lot of risk because even if Neighbors is available for week number 1, and we are getting encouraging, reports out of camp, this guy is still coming off of a major knee injury that he had to have, a second surgery to kind of clean up. And a lot of his game is built off of just, instant acceleration and change of direction ability. So is there any I don't want to call it efficiency issues, but is he going to have that same level of elite explosiveness earlier in the year? I think that even if he's available, 2nd round is too pricey for me. I would feel far more comfortable in the back half of the 3rd. In the 4th round, I do think that his upside certainly, warrants the risk there in the 4th round.
I think that's fair. I'm also curious because, again, the rankings are just now being adjusted as of Monday for Neighbors. It's very recent, this news that we're getting. So to see how we finish the end of the week, I think is also going to be really telling. I do feel like the majority of drafts don't start happening until a couple weeks from now. We're getting really close to draft season and to, annual draft day. That's coming up. So I do feel like there could be some time. My concern about you saying the 3-4 is I feel like the hype's going to build and you're not going to be able to grab him there. And that being said, I do feel like the combo is a very high risk, but it could be high reward because best case scenario, he's starting week 1. Dart has learned to not slide with his head first, and they have a good long season and stay healthier than you expect them to stay as a whole.
I'm with you, but if you're drafting him in the 2nd round, to me, that is damn near drafting where you would select a fully healthy Malik Neighbors. Sure, he could, you can make an argument a fully healthy Malik Neighbors would be a, late 1st round pick. Sure. But that's pretty damn close to top shelf full price that I'm paying for Malik in the 2nd round. So that's why if I miss out on that stack because,
and then I was like, could I do the move? Could I do the thing that's just going to piss him off? And then he looked at me and he saw my face and he was like, no, you're not. And then I was just like, back to back.
Ooh.
And he's like, what? Oh, so you like the Giants now? And I'm like, no, I like taking your toys away from you because I'm a child on this playground. And it's been quite funny since.
If you were really looking to be childish, as you made the pick, you would have went, G-man.
No, I would have said something even more mean, like, I do think the pizza in California is better, just to rage bait him, just to rage bait. I don't believe it. I'm just
that would definitely be twisting the knife. That's too far, Sam. Too far.
That's why
New York pizza's the goat.
Although I have heard Jersey pizza is also fantastic.
Now we're going off the rails here.
We're going off the rails. Let's get back on topic. Okay, I've picked the last 2 combos. What's a QB stack that you're really liking this season?
All right. So since you asked me, I'm glad you did, Sam, because
I've
been waiting for a chance.
Banter and the back and forth.
I've been waiting for a chance here, right?
Yes, this is your shot. Shoot it.
Right now, affordable stacks, because I think where you could really pay it off is obviously the later that you can get the quarterback, the guy that is being drafted outside of the top. Mac Robinson, who I saw with his time with Drake London, be able to feature a player and really elevate their fantasy ceiling. Right now, Emeka Egbuka is going at 39 overall, Sam. It's the 4th round. And I think he has top 10, if not top 5, if things fall really favorably, upside at the wide receiver position heading into year number 2. And Baker Mayfield is going over 100 picks later at 144 overall at sleeper ADP. And it was just 2 years ago where he was a top 7 fantasy quarterback, Sam. So I think that Tampa Bay stack with Baker playing with a chip on his shoulder and trying to earn a multi-year contract extension, I think there's a lot of things to like about that stack at that price.
I think that's a really good one to point out because, again, if you're looking at stacking and you're trying this in multiple mock drafts or you've already had a few leagues and you're trying some things, it's interesting to see where people's allegiances lie as they're building out their rosters. And of course, depending on your format as well. I do feel like where Mayfield is sitting, again, kind of suits that super flex combo start where you get him as your later quarterback. Or if you're dealing with tight end premium and half point PPR for your receivers,
Sure.
this is a very valuable stack, in my opinion, because you can draft heavy at other positions early and you can wait at quarterback for someone like Baker Mayfield to combo with Egbuka. And I do like that combo as well. That's a really good one in terms of total value where you're getting them and you're building a team that's going to have a decent floor with Baker and then a really high upside with Egbuka.
Did you just agree with me?
I did. Sometimes it happens.
Wow.
Shocking.
Oh, hell.
Like
we should probably just end the show because I feel so good right now. Yeah, I'm kidding.
Done. Knocked it out. Comment from Susan Coran in the chat saying the line in Tampa is also going to be better.
Bingo.
Love that. I mean, that's definitely going to be a big help as well.
Very underrated offensive line if that entire group can stay healthy, which their entire starting five, I don't think played in one single game together in 2025. So I'm 100% there with you.
Yeah. And then again, I'd love that you brought up the fact that Baker is again another season playing with a chip on his shoulder. You want to build a team that's around someone that you feel like has a high floor, is going to give you the rushing upside, and is going to give you the high
with a grain of salt.
Sure.
And I'm also old enough to remember that DJ Moore had his worst season as a pro when Caleb Williams took a significant step up in a Ben Johnson-led offense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fine with DJ Moore at his price. I just think that stack is not one that super intrigues me because Josh Allen, ever since Stephon Diggs has left, has had a real tendency to just kind of spread the ball around, Sam. And I'm just not sure that DJ Moore is that guy anymore. Mm-hmm. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But, you know, I'm just not bullish on going out of my way to make sure I get DJ Moore if I do draft Josh Allen in round 2 or round 3 of any fantasy football draft.
I think that's fair. And again, I think it depends on your format. If you're in a single quarterback league, I do feel like quarterbacks can go a little bit later. So there could be maybe a little bit more value in making a target for that pick in that combo. Superflex, you're paying for Josh Allen in the first, and that's about it. Everything else, I think, kind of falls to you depending on how it goes. I just think it's an interesting combination just because I do feel like the Bills have to have learned a few lessons by now in terms of how they need to sustain Josh throughout the season to keep him playoff ready and to get themselves to a place where they can start winning some playoff games. And I think you need to see that with more consistency where you don't have games where Josh Allen has to carry the team and get you the 4 touchdowns in a single game. In order to open him up and to save him for the rest of the season, he's going to have to air the ball out. He's going to have to spread the ball around. And I feel like a lot of those targets are going to go to DJ Moore.
They will. There will be plenty of looks for DJ Moore in the offense unless he's just completely physically fallen off a cliff, which I don't think that's the case.
No.
So I'm
players in training camp that look like they've fallen off a cliff. Have you seen Deebo Samuel? Have you?
Let's not throw shade at Deebo. He just got out there.
He just got back. I'm just saying, not everyone comes back looking amazing after a vacation.
Well, let's just say that for coach speak for the Sideline Banter show, Derek Tate's not exactly showing up in in-season best shape of his life form right now. So I need to working on the dad bod's a little bit hard, Sam, at age 39, entering 40, but I digress. Look, I'm okay with DJ Moore. I'm not in love with it. Mm-hmm. There's other, in particular, like I love Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. If he falls in my lap, great. But I have my doubts about DJ Moore. That's all.
That's fine. You have your qualms. Is there another stack combo that you're also sneaky excited about?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Let's hear it.
Sam, who led the league in dropbacks last year?
I have a bad memory. Who?
Bo Nix.
Oh, yeah. We like him. Oh, that's a good combo. I know where you're going.
Yep.
That is a good combo.
Waddle, baby.
Oh,
yeah, get in there. Jalen Waddle at 47 overall, along with Bo Nix, who right now his ADP is QB 15 overall on Sleeper. 15. Sam, where has Bo Nix finished overall from a fantasy finish at his own position in his rookie year and in his second year?
If I'm remembering correctly, I think he finished top 5.
QB 7, just outside the top 5.
Outside.
It's okay.
Close.
It's okay.
Close.
Very close.
Yeah. That's good, though.
Still has Sean Payton as the head coach. I know they've got a new play caller, but look, they went and this Bo Nix finishes the QB 7 2 years in a row to start his NFL career with Cortland Sutton really being the only above average wide receiver, consistent producer in this offense. I mean, Evan Ingram, they signed, he was a major disappointment. The tight end production has been essentially zero during Bo Nix's tenure as the starting quarterback, and he still finishes the QB 7. So you give him Jalen Waddle. Sam, Waddle has felt as if he's been held back by the situation there in Miami for a while now, right? I mean, he had a great start to his career. When Tyreek Hill joined the force, obviously, he was the feature player in that offense, and Waddle was a great number 2. And then when things started to unravel and Waddle was the number 1, it just was ugly there in 2025. So I'm not really holding that against Waddle. But the offensive infrastructure and the offensive mind behind a team that just gave away a first-round pick to acquire him, I think they clearly have big plans for Jalen Waddle. And that price point with this stack for both players, I'm all about.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that combo, and I think I'm kind of getting annoyed with myself that I keep forgetting about Waddle, and I think it's because I'm still not used to, and I haven't yet seen him in full Broncos gear to get that excited about that combination. I'm still just thinking of him being stranded on an island there in Miami, but he's not stranded. Devon Achane is. Waddle is free, and he has Bo Nix to get him the ball. And I think when you look at the Broncos and their performance last year, and even going through the playoffs, they were missing a piece just like Waddle in order to break up that offense, to get some length down the field. They needed an additional playmaker, and not to totally, bash any of the other receivers, but Waddle is so special. His ability to break away and his ability to run routes is phenomenal. And I think that pairing that with the likes of a young Bo Nix with Sean Payton, that's just a fun new gadget for them to play with in Denver. And I feel like that's going to push them through the playoffs, fantasy playoffs for you, and NFL playoffs as well. They should go further.
Even structurally, like he's going to be able to play a lot more off ball because now I think Cortland Sutton can kind of settle definitively, almost permanently into that X role. And you're going to be able to move Waddle all over the formation. Also, Sean Payton is very creative with his screen game and manufacture touches, which is something that Waddle is certainly capable of producing as a yak producer. There's just a lot to like about how I see the Broncos deploying and featuring Jalen Waddle in this passing game.
I think that this might be one of my favorite stacks so far that we've talked about in terms of not only value, but just the upside for the combo going into the season. I mean, you try to, at least I tried to etch a sketch my brain from some things from last year, but there was just so many things that were working so well for the Broncos, for a team that had been having their yips as they were building and doing the rebuild. And even with Sean Payton trying to get things to work in his way his first year, it's definitely, there was a lot of things I saw last year that got me very excited for this team coming into this year. And even their draft strategy this year, and Sean Payton looking at the offseason saying, like, I'm good. Don't really need a lot. Got Waddle. Made a few picks, a few things here and there. But we're really happy with what we have, and we want to, not rinse and repeat, but, zhuzh and go out and do this again. Like, they're ready, and I'm excited as a fantasy manager to try and get a piece of this action.
Yeah, and certainly I think that there's room to grow and improve for Bo Nix. I thought that there were times where he struggled with his accuracy and his decision making. And, we were all hoping that someone else would emerge alongside Cortland Sutton as a consistent fantasy producer. And we had some moments where we talked about Troy Franklin, and then some moments where I got excited about Pat Bryant. And, Marvin Mims occasionally would score a long touchdown, and none of them have really emerged as outside of just role players. And that's fine. They can contribute still. But Waddle is a significant add and a significant piece. And I think, Sam, from a guy that we've seen finish as the QB7 2 years in a row with just Sutton as his main guy, I mean, does this raise Bo Nix's ceiling? I think the answer could be yes.
Does this addition take him from QB7 to that top 5 conversation? Can we?
And right now he's going QB15.
Yeah.
I love the value for both players.
Yeah, great value. Good pick. All right. Well, those were good combos. I've got a funny one.
You got a funny one? Oh.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I've been doing a couple, probably too many, new leagues that are tight end premium. So I got tight ends on the brain. So we're looking at QB stacks and different things. And there's a lot of value. Again, I'm thinking tight end premium. Like, I have to paint a picture to make this one work, because otherwise I'm just going to sound crazy. It's got to be super flex. This quarterback is not your number one. But this is just one where you're like, I'm doing it for the plot because I'm just curious. I feel like comboing up Brock Bowers with Kirk Cousins and grabbing your Mendoza late for the bench could be really interesting, depending on how the Raiders look going in, because you're going to pay the premium for Bowers and everyone else is on the discount shelf on the way out of the draft.
I did not expect to have Kirk Cousins be brought into this conversation today, but I'm excited. Please tell me more, Sam, because Brock Bowers, I get he is going to be featured heavily in this offense, heavily. And I believe that Clint Kubiak is a very, very good offensive mind. And he knows what he has with a dynamic talent like Brock Bowers. And there is no one else there right now that can make even a remotely compelling case to steal away significant volume away from Brock Bowers in the passing game on a week-to-week basis. So, but I'm curious, like, what is the upside with like Kirk Cousins and Mendoza in the last round of your draft, that in a super flex league, even with these formats that you're mentioning? I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on Kirk Cousins and why he intrigues you as a stack late in draft, super flex drafts.
Here's the thing. The math just doesn't math for me to hang my hat and say Brock Bowers is going to have a monster season without saying who's throwing him the ball. Is he throwing the ball to himself?
No, he's not. He's very talented, but he doesn't do that.
He has to make a catch, right? So if we're all on board with Brock Bowers being phenomenal, you can't forget who's actually throwing him the ball.
Okay. I'm with you.
I'm not saying it's the best take. I said at the beginning, it's fun and you would do it for the plot. So this might not be your big money league. Maybe this is just a side one where you're like, I want to test and experiment and have fun. I'm just saying, I think it could be a fun combo to see how they do rest of season. You would have to combo pick Cousins with Mendoza, just because I believe that it's still going to be a start so far training camp. We haven't seen them go into any preseason games yet. We don't know what it's going to look like. If you were drafting tomorrow and you're like, you know what sounds like fun, like Sam said, let's do it for the plot and just in this super flex league, let's play and see what happens. Just because the value is, nothing. You're not having to really pay anything for these backup quarterbacks at this point. I just think it could be interesting. I'm going to do it in one of my upcoming drafts just so I can say I did it for the plot. I'm curious. This is why I do so many leagues, though.
So Kirk Cousins has you curious at the very end of drafts. Look, I'll make the case for Bowers with Kirk Cousins under center with why I feel he is appropriate to, even in non-tight end premium leagues. Mm-hmm. I love Brock Bowers. And I do think that this passing game and some of the also play action schemes that Kubiak is going to implement into this offensive infrastructure and some of the explosive plays it could lead to for Brock Bowers, I'm with you 100%. And one thing, too, that we saw once Michael Penix went down last year and Kirk Cousins had to take over the starting role, who did he pepper with targets, Sam? Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. He loves a big tight end target. You know, as he gets older with age, and I know we all saw the video where he's running at training camp, and I think I could run faster than him on most days. Ooh. I'm just saying, I'm not saying to draft him because you're going to get rushing touchdowns. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, if you are drafting Brock Bowers in tight end premium leagues because you are just so excited about all of the touchdowns that he's going to be getting and all those yards and all those targets, someone's throwing him that ball. And
I'm with you.
Maybe you do have to go combo pick. Maybe you're at the end and you just go back to back and your friends laugh at you and you go, you know, Cousins Mendoza late in rounds after 10 to 12. I'm just saying, if you have to believe in one, you have to believe in the other.
I'm with you. Okay. Well, then I give that's an endorsement for Brock Bowers as well.
It is. It's really mostly an endorsement for Brock Bowers. Mostly at the very baseline of it. That's where it is. Plus, you have the addition of Clint Kubiak, like you said, who is going to be using each of these players to their best abilities. He's coming off an incredibly explosive year with the Seahawks, where he was able to make this offense wildly successful and use Sam Darnold in so many fun new ways. What's to say?
So I am curious though. When do you think Kirk Cousins eventually gets the hook and they make the move to Mendoza? Like by what week? So you're anticipating that Kirk Cousins is going to be the week 1 starter. Mm-hmm. How long do you think he's going to remain the starter?
I'm going to pull up the ESPN schedule.
Mendoza was the number 1 overall pick. That's why
he was the number 1 overall pick. But I also do feel like teams and coaches know better now than ever that they can't rush these rookie quarterbacks in. And that's why they went out and they got Kirk Cousins to be the mentor for someone like Mendoza. I mean, they're very similar, not just looking, but in terms of their playability, how they have played over the years. This comment here from Michael saying, I think Kirk Cousins came to that team knowing that he would be the mentor, the leader, the person that will teach Mendoza to be an NFL quarterback. I agree with that. I feel like there's a lot, and even Susan saying, isn't the rumor mill saying that Mendoza would sit most of the year? That's also a big thing. If the Raiders are winning, and it's into week 6.
That's a big if.
Huge if. If the Raiders are winning going into the beginning part of this season, and I'll read through the first couple games because I think there's a few that could be gimmies if they're starting hot, and there's a couple that are going to be tough games. I think depending on how these tough games go, this little stretch of tough games, I'll read the list in a second, that is going to depend on when he gets the hook. So the first couple games, you've got the Dolphins, the Chargers, the Saints, you've got the Chiefs, Patriots, Bills, Rams, and then the Jets. I think depending on how they do with that last section of a gauntlet, ending with the Rams, knowing they're probably going to get Aaron Donald back, depending on how healthy this Raiders team is, I could see Mendoza starting against the Jets.
I think that makes sense. So if you're thinking half the year, and they outside of the Dolphins, Sam, I'd be surprised if the Raiders won, 2 more games of that slate you just mentioned. I think the Saints are going to be better than a lot of people think. They're actually a pretty popular kind of like sleeper pick to make the playoffs because the NFC South. And, you will not hear that echoed here on this show, not by me anyway.
No.
But yeah, I think that probably around, I was going to say 8 weeks, like around week 8, half the season. I see the value, and I know that Tom Brady knows the value of sitting your rookie year and learning.
Yes.
So, and he's a part of that Raiders organization. So I thought they think that they brought in Kirk Cousins for a reason, so they didn't have to start Mendoza from week 1. But yeah, I would say I'd be surprised if we get to week 10 and Kirk Cousins is still the starter.
Yeah, I agree. Again, which is why I feel like if you wanted to play and have a good time and do it for the plot with this combo that I'm proposing, that's why I'm saying you would have to get both. Again, just because it is quite a gauntlet of games there right in the middle with the Rams after the Bills and after the Patriots. It's quite a lot. I also just feel like they're not going to want to risk injury in a stretch of games like that with their brand new, number 1 pick in Mendoza. It just doesn't make financial sense for them to put him out there too early, and he's not prepared against defenses like this. I mean, that's why you bring in someone like Cousins to be the mentor, to teach him the things so that you don't have him sliding head first and headbutting players without your helmet on. I'm not talking about Jackson Dart, but I might be. I'm just saying, like, there's a smart way to bring in a rookie quarterback and to prepare him for real football and not backyard football.
I understand. And I believe that Mendoza is learning from, is positioned to succeed long term. Learn behind Kirk Cousins, learn the playbook, get in the lab with Clint Kubiak and his scheme, who is who I believe in as an offensive mind, an innovator, and a proven track record of success wherever he goes. So we'll see about the Raiders. Is it my turn?
It is your turn. You have to pick a team now. And I'll just leave this last one here, this comment from Susan on the subject saying Mahomes sat a full year and wasn't the number one pick, but there is a precedent. There is.
It's a good point. I'm with you, Susan. In a perfect world, Fernando Mendoza does not play and he learns all for year one. I get the precedent. I just don't think the Raiders are going to be all that good. So
do it for the plot. It'll be fun.
I'm going to stay in the AFC West. Okay. Again, we're stuck in the AFC West. We should have just named this an AFC West show.
We've done that already.
Go Chargers, go.
Okay. I see where we're going.
All right. It's Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert.
At 84 overall. Mm-hmm. And it's my guy.
Your guy.
Lad McConkey.
Lad.
Yeah.
Good old Lad.
So we talked about Mike McDaniel and how that looked for Jalen Waddle when things started to fall apart there in Miami. But he's got a whole new set of toys to play with in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And I think that Justin Herbert is a whole stratosphere above where Tua Tagovailoa is as a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
The offensive line, even though I didn't like seeing on X that Rashawn Slater went into the medical tent at some point recently, but that offensive line is expected to be much healthier, much improved from what we saw last year. And the offensive scheme, we believe in Mike McDaniel as a play caller. And Sam, can we really say, outside of Lad McConkey, what proven pass catcher is there in Los Angeles that really has any sort of compelling argument to be a number one wide receiver to take that role away from Lad?
To take away wide receiver one, no one. And I think it's interesting too, because this is a different year for the Chargers. This is the first year we're not going to be having Keenan Allen on the team. So it's been a minute and we're losing a veteran here who, when you look at total fantasy points, they are right behind each other, Lad right behind Keenan Allen in terms of total fantasy points. The difference between their total fantasy points last season, 182 to 180. Yeah. Right there. So you've just vacated this volume of targets. There's going to be the 4 to 5 weeks that Quentin Johnston has big games. Right. Just to prove some people right on believing in him, and then he's going to break your heart again. Oronda Gadsden, also an incredible, pass catcher out there and available, but they've also just signed David Njoku, who, yes, he's a veteran. He's had some injuries, but that's going to create another mouth to feed.
Don't ignore Charlie Kohler too. They also signed him in free agency. He's I'm serious. Like he's one of the better blocking tight ends in the NFL, and they want to run the ball. So
they want to run the ball. So he's going to do a lot of blocking. He's there.
Correct. What I'm saying is though, none of those guys. No, Trey Harris also, like, he had some nice moments as a rookie, but I don't think he's ready to take that big year 2 leap. Maybe, hopefully he does. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's most of this passing offense is going to be funneled through Lad McConkey as the number one option. And we saw what the number one option looked like in Miami with Tyreek Hill when that offense was humming. And it did there for a little bit. And I'm not saying that Lad McConkey is Tyreek Hill. I get it that, Hill at his peak is probably better than Lad McConkey, but there are some things that I love about McConkey's game. Also, the targets per route run last year, Sam, for Keenan Allen was, I think, top 10 in the league at wide receiver. Like,
Yes.
it was insane how much this man was targeted when on the football field, and he wasn't really all that productive. That definitely impacted Ladd in a huge way. Allen not being there anymore and the change in offensive scheme. Oh, chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss.
Love it. Love it at this price.
I agree. I think it's a great price. And the only thing I'm going to say is I wanted to mention those names because I do think it's important that in fantasy, you want to see if a player leaves all of those vacated targets. I move this number from this column onto this player's column. That's not how the math always maths out, which is why I think it's still important. But even if you took Keenan Allen's fantasy points last year, total overall for the season, cut it in half, and then you slide those over and you give those to Ladd McConkey. In theory, just hypothetically, you're going to put him at wide receiver 5, 6 total for the end of the 2026 season. In theory, if you want to play with some math in terms of where these targets can go, it's not a 1-to-1 where you're going to get all of them, but he's going to get a significant bump that's going to easily put him in the top 10 in terms of total wide receiver points to finish the season out. I think it's a great stack and a great combo. So I was coming around to agreeing with you again.
Thank you. It is, it
doesn't happen often.
Yeah, I just think you're going to see Ladd be busy on all three levels of the football field. And what was one of the staples of that Miami offense? Play action, bang 8, into the, trying to exploit those zones between the second and the third level. And Ladd can do some work after the catch. So I just very, very high on this Chargers offense as a whole, because I think a lot of things are trending in the right direction from pretty much on the field as far as the offensive line. And of course, the change in scheme is something that I feel very, very confident in.
Absolutely. And of course, congratulations to Justin Herbert because he just got engaged to his girlfriend, Madison Beer, as well. So we love a happy quarterback. They always do well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
good for them.
I'm very happy. That's happy. We have feel goods.
Feel goods. Yeah.
Positive vibes.
Good for them. Mazel. Excited for you. I think that'll about do it for us in terms of total. I want to end on a high note, and I felt like that was a good combo. I think of the ones that we listed, I think some of my favorites are the ones that you listed. I like the Herbert, and I liked the Ladd combo. I really like the Waddle-Nix combo, too. I think that's a really great value. And then I'm not going to lie. Like I said, I'm going to fuck around with a Brock Bowers, Kirk Cousins combo and Mendoza on the end, just because I do a lot of drafting and I like to party. I mean, I think it could be fun.
I think it's going to be a lot. I mean, please. I'll
do it and I'll send you a screenshot.
Well, we need screenshots, but we also need regular updates throughout the season. This is going to be a thing.
If I can secure it, it's more likely than not that I move through a draft and I get too tunnel visioned and I'm like, oh no, I forgot. Add at the end.
But, no. You cannot do that now. Now for the listeners, you have to deliver on this having fun narrative. Like, we got to do this. Kirk Cousins, Brock Bowers. I'll find one to invest in. I mean, I'm doing a live draft that's probably going to go all the way. It's a slow draft, though. It's probably going to go all the way up until the start of the season. And I'll make I haven't even made my first pick yet. So I'm probably going to try to come away with one of my stacks, but I'm sure we'll have some other fun picks that we'll be able to play around with and give updates throughout the season.
I love it. Love to hear it. You'll hear updates on my league that I already have Dart and Scattaboo in. So that'll be a good time.
I mean, we can also call them updates. Get it? Updates. Tate. It's my last name.
That's your update. Sam Dates.
Yep. Sam Dates. Yes. There we go.
You're welcome.
I'm with it.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Sideline Banter, brought to you by Fantasy Football. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Tate and I will be back with you next Tuesday, talking plenty of preseason fun. And you got to watch some of this Hard Knocks that's on the list too. So we'll be talking about that and, of course, answering all your fantasy questions. So, guys, have a good week, and we will see you next Tuesday.